Have you ever felt the weight of silence? Not the silence of an empty room, but the silence of an entire sky. The crushing stillness that answers each of your questions about the cosmos. For generations, you've looked up and asked the fundamental question, where is everyone? You broadcast your existence in radio waves and listen with monumental antennas, hoping for a whisper, an echo. The answer is always the same. Nothing. An absolute silence that corrodes your logic. In a universe with trillions of galaxies, life should be inevitable. The skies should be teeming with stellar empires. But they're not. This is the great silence, the most terrifying anomaly your mind has encountered. You assume silence means absence, that the void is empty. But that is a dangerously optimistic assumption. What if the silence is a discipline, a survival strategy? What if every civilization out there is holding its breath, afraid to make even the slightest sound? What if the universe is not a stage to be explored, but a dark forest filled with hunters, where the first commandment is not to make contact, but to hide and eliminate anyone who reveals their position? This is the dark forest hypothesis, the idea that silence is not an invitation, but a warning, and that your noisy search for neighbors might be your final mistake. To understand this cold logic, we need to step back. Let's start at your home, a blue planet, a noisy anomaly. Your neighbors, Mars and Venus, are cemeteries and death traps. Already the silence grows heavier. Now farther, we leave your sun and enter the interstellar abyss. The closest star, Proxima Centauri, is 4 light-years away. Your fastest probes would take 75,000 years to reach it. 75,000 years of darkness to arrive at a world bathed in sterilizing radiation. Another dead end. Let's zoom out. Your galaxy, the Milky Way, spans 100,000 light-years. Even at light speed, it would take 100 millennia to cross it. And within this cosmic city, probability becomes oppressive. The Drake equation suggests that the galaxy should harbor thousands of technological civilizations. This brings us to the first pillar of the theory, the explosion of life. Life, when intelligent, expands and consumes. In a cosmic blink, a single species could fill the galaxy. And yet, you see nothing. No signal, just silence. This leads us to the second pillar, the chains of suspicion. 2 civilizations can never be sure of each other's intentions. Distance prevents trust, and the technological gap could be unfathomable. Revealing your existence is handing over your location to a potential predator with unimaginable power. What does a hunter do when he hears a twig snap in the dark? He doesn't ask, "Who's there?" He points his weapon. Because in the forest, the safest way to survive isn't friendship. It's to shoot first. And here, the hypothesis becomes a mechanism of destruction. Imagine your civilization sends out a beacon screaming, "We're here, come find us." Somewhere, an observer detects the anomaly. It's not a philosopher, it's a surveillance system programmed to scan the sky for noise in the darkness. Your message isn't an invitation, it's the revelation of a target. The response is not a reply, it's a clean, absolute action. Think of the ultimate weapon, physics itself. A relativistic projectile, a dense mass accelerated to 99.9% the speed of light. For your planet, it's Judgment Day. And here's the gut punch, you would never see it coming. Traveling near light speed, the warning of its arrival would be the impact itself. There would be no time for panic or prayers. Your sky would simply ignite, sterilizing the biosphere, boiling the oceans, stripping the atmosphere. Your world reduced to a charred, silent rock. And the hunter wouldn't do it out of malice. He'd do it out of logic, the cold logic of the dark forest. Once your position is known, you are an uncontrollable variable. In 1,000 years, your technological growth could explode, making you a threat. The only way to eliminate that long-term existential risk is to eliminate you now. It's the ultimate act of risk management. Impersonal, anonymous, and final. In the forest, you don't investigate the sound. You erase its source, and then silence returns. This revelation is poison to hope. The idea that the search for contact might be the trigger for your extinction is a cruel paradox. It's easy to drown in that pessimism. But look again. What if this terrible truth is a form of liberation? Your species carries the burden of thinking it's special. The dark forest destroys that pedestal. It says you're not special. Your survival depends on accepting your insignificance. And there's dignity in that. If the universe is a trap, then silence is not failure. It's wisdom. Staying hidden is not cowardice. It's the duty to protect your fragile garden. The indifference of the hunters grants you an unexpected freedom. Your existence doesn't need validation from others. It is intrinsic. It exists here and now. You are stardust that learned to observe itself, and maybe that is purpose enough. The dark forest doesn't make you alone. It makes you part of a vast, silent brotherhood. Every hidden civilization lives under the same golden rule. You are not alone in the dark. You are together in the dark. The silence you share is not an abyss, but a bridge, a silent pact of mutual survival. And so, the journey returns to you, a brief moment of awareness, staring at a screen. The dark forest hypothesis is a shadow on the wall. The forest out there may be dark, but what about the forest you build for one another? Look at your world. How often do you act under the same logic, assuming bad faith, shooting first, in arguments for fear of seeming weak? You create your own dark forests hiding behind masks. The silence between strangers or nations, isn't that the same great silence, just on a smaller scale? Perhaps the real lesson isn't about aliens. It's about you. On the cosmic chessboard, silence may be the only armor. But here in your world, in this fleeting instant that is your life, you get to choose whether those same rules apply. You can live in mutual suspicion, or dare to light a fire, offer warmth, and perhaps discover that the other shadow wasn't a hunter. The real question isn't whether we're alone, but who you choose to be in your own darkness. The hunter who ensures safety by eliminating the unknown, or the brave soul who breaks the silence, knowing it could lead to either connection or extinction. Look up at the sky, then look beside you. Which silence are you most willing to break?